Well, we clap our hands and we sing. All right. So what does that do? Well, it makes me feel better. It makes you feel better in prison? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to knock that. I believe in singing. Okay. I try to sing to myself sometimes. I certainly listen to what you call sounds, but all sounds that black people are making in this day and time, according to the code, should help you to think, speak, and act in a constructive manner. Otherwise, we should say that ain't music, that's noise. See, now this is in the textbook for victims. I try to get to the part where what to do about things rather than just keep going around in a circle talking about how awful everything is. No. Music to a black person. See, music is nothing but a sound because there's two types of sounds in the universe. I'm talking about universal logic now. Just two. Music and noise. Now, what's the difference between music and noise? Music is whatever you think about doing when you hear that sound, whatever that sound is. The sound of a waterfall, the sound of a chair falling over, the sound of someone knocking on the door. What do you think? And the difference between sounds is music and noise. Is that music? Sometimes we use a slang expression. That's music to my ears. What? I don't hear no music. That's what the other person says. Say, hey, you hear that knock on the door? That's my cousin. He's just bringing me $4,000. He said he'd be over today at noon, and it's noon, and he's here with the $4,000. That's music to my ears, that knock on the door. You didn't know it until I told you, because sound means nothing until you make it mean something. Music means nothing until you make it mean something. And noise means something until you say that it's noise. And you should distinguish between music and noise and make it sure that if you hear a sound, it's always music, meaning something that's going to work for you in a constructive manner. Every sound you hear, whether it's a person saying something to you or a knock on a door. Suppose you have your universe tailored that way so that every sound that you embrace helps you to think, speak, and act in a better manner than you did before you heard that sound. And when you sit down to write a song, a lot of us like to write songs. We like to be songwriters and whatnot. Ad infinitum. Ask yourself, when I play this, is it going to have a constructive effect on the people who are listening to it? Or is it going to have a non-constructive effect? Is it going to be music or is it going to be noise? Because there's no such thing as in between. It's either going to be music or noise if they embrace it, if they're listening to it at all. And what can be music right now, and everybody knows this, can be noise later on. Depends on the environment. Depends on what's going on. See? You're sitting with your feet up and you're listening to what? Music. And you are inspired to do great things, all right, to do constructive things. Okay? But that same sound, playing that same record, you will call it noise. 2 hours later, if you're a surgeon and you're in that surgery room and all of a sudden that comes blasting over the loudspeaker, stop and think about it. I'm talking about logic now. I'm talking about the real world. All right, that the white supremacist seals us off from by giving us all types of what? False things to go chasing after, like the illustration I just gave, like a symbol on a pair of shoes, and somebody's got to die for it. That is a terrible thing to do with a person's mind. But the white supremacists do it with a smile on their face and think nothing of it. And say, these dumb Negroes, we got them forever. They don't know what's valuable, and they don't know what isn't valuable, except what I tell them, and that's what I am going to do, keep them that way.